Well, lawmakers are already off to a busy week on Capitol Hill. There's ongoing negotiations on ending the partial government shutdown and, of course, the start of Markwayne Mullin's confirmation process to become Homeland Security Secretary.
Process starts this morning with a hearing in front of the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. And joining us over Zoom ahead of that hearing, Oklahoma U.S. Senator James Lankford, who's also a member of that committee. Glad to have you with us this morning, Senator.
Yeah, good to see you as well to this morning. Excuse me, I'm still waking up my mouth, I guess.
Senator, I've known you a long time, and just very quickly, if you'd gone back to 35 years ago and told a young pastor he would one day be the senior U.S. Senator from Oklahoma, what do you think he'd have said to that?
Yeah, I would not have believed it at that point. This is where God has us at this point, and we are trying to be faithful in the task.
Let's talk about Markwayne Mullin and his confirmation hearing. Democrats have already said that they're going to ask more questions about if he is qualified or a lack thereof of qualifications. Do you feel that Senator Mullin is qualified for that position?
He is certainly qualified for this position. Let me give you an example of this. We actually manage FEMA through Homeland Security on it. If anyone's qualified, it's anyone who represents Oklahoma. We've walked through a lot of the paperwork and process. Unfortunately, we have our share of disasters, and so it's very important. We have a very secure border now. He has a good management team that's already in place handling CBP and other aspects of that. Now it's a matter of we got to be able to rework FEMA. There's other areas that have got to be done, like Secret Service. So yes, he has very good experience. He's studied these issues for years.
This process sometimes can take a long time. Do you expect that to happen in Senator Mullin's case?
I don't actually. So all of his paperwork's in, all of his background work is already done. We have the hearing today in the committee that I actually serve on, so I get the pleasure of actually leading some of the questions with him today. And then the vote in committee will actually be tomorrow. Then he'll come to the floor of the Senate next week. So we could have him confirmed by the end of the week next week.
And then obviously after his confirmation, there's going to be a little bit of a shakeup to replace him. Can you give us your input on that seat?
I can actually. State law allows the governor himself to actually make the selection for the short-term appointment. This person is a placeholder that's actually there through the rest of the year. And then April 1, 2, and 3 will be the filing to be the long-term replacement. That person will be elected in their primary. We'll go through the normal process we have for elections. Kevin Hern has already announced that he is running for that position. In fact, I have supported Kevin Hern in that position on that. But Oklahomans will actually make their own decisions as well and be able to step out and to be able to vote in the normal process we'll have in the June and then November elections.
Back to Homeland Security. TSA falls under Homeland Security, and here during spring break we're seeing these long lines at the airports. Yeah. Partial government shutdown really affecting TSA agents and the operation of that system. What can you say about the government shutdown right now? I know that folks on your side of the aisle are blaming Democrats blaming the other side. A lot of folks saying Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, they have the White House. When's something going to get done on this?
Yeah, that's always a clever argument. Say Republicans of the House, Senate, and White House, they should be able to do whatever they want to do when they quietly know it takes 60 to be able to move any issue in the Senate. So if just 8 Democrats decide they're not going to do this, then the whole system actually shuts down. That's where we are right now. We're trying to get my Democratic colleagues to actually come to the table on this. President Trump has actually put out a long proposal on dealing with ID, on dealing with de-escalation tactics, we're dealing with body-worn cameras, changing the warrant process. He's put all those things out there weeks ago, and he's waiting on Chuck Schumer to actually respond. Chuck Schumer has just determined it's good politics at this point for his side to be able to say, hey, we're fighting against ICE. The problem is there's a lot of TSA folks and Coast Guard and Secret Service and FEMA and other folks that are all caught up into this as well. We want to get this open. You know as well as I do on this, I've fought for years to not have government shutdowns at all. I don't think we should have this as a process, and I have a bipartisan bill that I believe we have 60 votes in the Senate to be able to end this process forever for any federal employee that's out there. Put the pressure on members of Congress, not on these federal workers that are out there. They don't have the ability to be able to turn government back on. They should not be the ones punished in the process.
Senator Lankford, I do want to ask you about the SAVE Act. There's been a lot of back and forth between the House and the Senate as far as how to approach this. The House wants to use voter rolls. The Senate still is potentially asking to use birth certificates or passports. As a as a married woman, my birth certificate does not match my ID because I am married, and I'm just like 69 million other women who would be impacted by this. How do you say that this process is handled so that way people like myself can continue to vote?
Yep, we actually want you to continue to be able to vote. We want all Americans to vote. The 1965 Voter Rights Act says any citizen of the United States is protected in their right to vote and make sure they can. So there's no law we're going to put in place to try to supersede that, but we are trying to accomplish the first step of that. We don't have any way to be able to verify citizenship in America. Let me give you, for instance, in Oklahoma not long ago, we purged the voter rolls and separated out people that went to jury duty, and at jury duty went to the judge and under oath said, hey, I can't serve on a jury because I'm not a citizen of the United States on it. So they were excused from jury duty. But then when they were checked that same name against the voter rolls, they were registered to vote. So in Oklahoma, we've gone through and purged that. If someone gives it under oath, they're not a citizen, but they're also registered to vote, we take their name away. This is happening. It's not something it's fake. This is actually happening even in Oklahoma, and we're finding ways to be able to identify it. Not every state does that. And so we're trying to be able to find how can we do this to be able to make sure we have the most basic thing. It's only citizens that vote, and we have a voter ID. So yes, we want to make sure that married women that have had a name change on that, to be able to do that same process. It's part of the amendment process that we're working through now to be able to protect the ability to be able to have mail-in ballots that are verified and also voter ID.
Our state election board has said our elections here in Oklahoma are very secure, by the way. Very quickly, I want to ask you about some of the servicemen and women that we have lost in the war in Iran, some that have had connections here to Oklahoma, as you well know.
Yeah, we have actually. And by the way, our elections in Oklahoma are very secure, and our folks do a great job in Oklahoma in the process and all of our leadership. Yeah, we lost Alex. Alex was one of the guys that was an OSU business graduate. The 6 members of the Air Force that died in the KC-135, they all came through Altus for their training. Alex, while he was here, also went to OSU. So yes, it's a very big issue for us losing anyone. These are folks that have a direct Oklahoma connection. They are fighting a war to try to protect Americans in the future. We've had Iran attack the United States 180 times in the last 4 years alone through their proxies in the region. This has been a constant picking at America and Americans all through that region. And the 750,000 Americans that live and work in that area, Iranians are always attacking them. And so this is President Trump saying we got to make that stop. We can't have Americans constantly under threat from a regime that just hates us for who we are. Iran can elect and can put in place whoever they want to, but they cannot continue to attack Americans.
Yeah.
Senator Lankford, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. We know you have a very busy day with the confirmation hearing for Senator Mullin a little bit later this afternoon. We look forward to hearing from you on that as well.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Y'all take care. Keep praying for the nation.
You too. Thank you.